What's going on, guys? My name is Ted Carr, and in this video we're going to be talking about the 3 mistakes that raw food noobs make. Now, there are plenty of mistakes that people can make when coming over to the raw food diet. Personally, I made over 100 mistakes over the past 8 years of doing raw, but in this video we're just going to cover 3 of the biggest ones, 3 of the most common ones that we see time and time again. Now, this summer I went to 3 big raw food festivals. I went to the Danish Fresh Food Festival in Denmark, I went to the UK Fruit Festival in Britain, and I went to the Woodstock Fruit Festival in New York. And at these events I did some public speaking, but more than just public speaking, I got to hang out with people one-on-one. I got to talk with them one-on-one, and I even got to host and attend a few support groups. And at the support groups we talked about things like, what are we having the hardest time with when it comes to succeeding with raw food? What are some of the things that are preventing us from succeeding big time with raw food? And these 3 things just keep coming up time and time again. So what are they? Well, the first thing is people are not giving themselves enough time to transition to raw food. They're expecting to do it overnight. Raw food takes time to adapt to, because if you're coming from 20 years of experience eating cooked food, 20 years of cooked food mindset, 20 years of cooked food habit, all of a sudden switching to raw food lifestyle is going to be very difficult. It's very different than cooked food. And if you slip up on raw food and you go back to cooked food, that doesn't mean you failed. It just means that you learned how not to do it. And if you slip up and make the same mistake several times, then you're just going to learn that habit. You're going to learn that lesson much more deeply. So if you slip up, don't worry. Just get back on track, get back on track, get back on track. I've slipped up 100 times when it came to succeeding on raw food. I kept slipping up on cooked food, but I just kept putting the focus back on raw food. Put the focus back on raw food. If I ever slipped up, I learned from it. I'd say, hey, how come I slipped up? And I would come up with these reasons why I slipped up. And looking back, I can see clearly why I slipped up, and these next couple of mistakes are going to explain why some people slip up. So that's mistake number 1, just not giving yourself enough time and just feeling like an absolute failure and wanting to go back to total cooked food just because you slipped up on raw food a couple times. If you slip up, it's normal. Get back on track and you will succeed as a raw fooder long term. It takes time to get it perfect. Just like when you start learning to walk, you fall down a bunch of times, but you keep getting back up and you learn to walk eventually. Same with raw food. You can succeed. You slip up, get back on track. Number 2, second mistake people make is they're not watching the right kind of content online. They're allowing themselves to be influenced by cooked fooders. If your goal is raw food, you want to be focusing on raw food. You want to be focusing on the raw fooders. If you're scrolling through Instagram and you're seeing cooked food come up in the feed and you're saying, oh, this girl is so inspiring, but she eats all these cooked foods, you're going to be inspired to eat like she does. But if your goal is raw, you've got to unsubscribe. You've got to unfollow from her. Same with if it's some guy who's like big and muscular but he's eating all this cooked food. If you want to be big and muscular on raw food, follow people like Mike Vlacity. Follow people who are big and muscular on raw food. But if someone is eating cooked food and they're in your feed, the chances of you being influenced by them is huge, especially if you're in the early days. So if you're in the early days of wanting to succeed on raw food, if you're just coming into the raw food lifestyle, even if you've been doing the raw food lifestyle for a couple of years or many months, you don't want to be watching anyone who's eating cooked food. They can sway your mind, definitely. You become whatever you focus on. And if you're focusing on people eating cooked food, you're going to become one of those people. So focus only on people eating raw food. Watch raw food interviews, listen to raw food podcasts, read raw food books. Just put your mind entirely on raw food, and more specifically fruit. Fresh, sweet, juicy fruit. Alright? And that brings me to my 3rd mistake that raw food noobs make, is they don't eat enough sweet, juicy fruit. They're eating instead a bunch of vegetables and nuts and seeds and seaweeds and little sprouts and superfoods and powders and juices and things like that. But you want to focus entirely on whole, sweet, fresh, ripe, raw, juicy fruit. Like these grapes, which I'm about to show you how to eat in a bit. These are Concord grapes, and they're amazing. But focus on things like melons, on citrus, on papayas, on mangoes, on grapes, on ripe persimmons, ripe juicy persimmons. What else? Yeah, man, just whatever sweet and juicy, really. Sweet juicy food for breakfast, sweet juicy fruit for lunch, sweet juicy fruit for dinner. You want sweet and juicy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But when you're just coming onto the raw food lifestyle, you probably want some more dense foods. to make sure you stay full. Because a big mistake raw food noobs make is they don't eat enough, so they get hungry and they go back to eating cooked food. That was definitely the case for me. I would get hungry and I look around, I see cooked food, I'd want to go for that. Only time cravings would really come on is when I got hungry. So if you eat enough raw food, if you fill up on raw food, if you eat so much fruit that you're super full, you won't even have room in your belly to think about any other food. So eat so much fresh fruit that you're super full and you're not even thinking about other food. And if you've been on raw food for a while, then you know that the calorie dense foods are things like the dates, the bananas, and the avocados. And these three staples are the ones I would recommend if you're living in a cold climate. I'd recommend dates, bananas, and avocados if you're living in America, if you're living in Canada, if you're living in Europe. 365 days a year. Have bananas, have dates, have avocados. Stay full on that stuff, man. Long term, eventually after many years on raw, you might eat less avocados, less bananas, less dates, and you'll gravitate more towards the sweet and juicy fruit. But we all feel our best on sweet and juicy. We all feel so much better after a nice big watermelon meal than we do after a bunch of dried dates. And speaking of dried dates, I recommend dates, bananas, and avocados as a staple. But when it comes to dates, you want to make sure that they're soaked. You want to soak your dates for at least 3 to 6 hours minimum, and then blend them up and drink them. Don't just eat dates dried on their own. They're going to mess up your teeth. If you are eating dried dates on their own, then be sure to floss, be sure to brush your teeth 20-30 minutes after, and always rinse your mouth out with a ton of water after as well. But instead, just focus on the juicy fruit. You won't even need to worry about the dried stuff. You can get fresh dates. I recommend something like 7hotdates.com. You can order them directly to your home there. And yeah, just check out local date farmers in your area or online, and you'll find a few there as well. But that's it, guys. Those are the 3 mistakes that raw food noobs make. Now I want to show you guys how to eat these Concord grapes. It's a bit dark out right now, but you can still see them. There's this pack I bought, and this right here is just pure skin. This is just all skin. I'm not going to eat any of this section right here. It's all skin that I just threw out. Because I don't think the skin digests that well, and it's not flavorful at all. It's actually quite sour on the Concord grapes. Just skin. It's not going to rub into your skin. That's another mistake raw food noobs make, because they're eating tons of vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and these things don't rub into your skin. But fresh fruit, the things I listed, like the papayas, the mangoes, the bananas, avocados, they rub into your skin. You want to eat foods that rub into your skin. If it can rub into your skin, it's going to get digested so much easier once it's in your intestines. And I'm not saying to just rub food into your skin, you're going to get all your nutrients that way. People misunderstand what I'm saying here. I'm saying that if you can rub a food into your skin, then when you do eat it, it's a sign that it's going to get absorbed so much easier. So when it comes to these grapes, avoid eating the skin on these grapes, because it's hard to digest stuff and it's kind of sour. But what you do with these Concord grapes is you take 2 of them, if you want. You can take one just to start if you're just practicing. Take 1 grape and then just squeeze the innards in your mouth and drop the pip. But if you want to take it to the next level and make it taste way better, you take 2 Concord grapes, 2 of these little guys. That was twice as good. And if you want to make it the best ever, you take 3 Concord grapes. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. And squeeze them all in. That is a mouthful of deliciousness. My friend Sarah showed me that one. Wow, super good. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoy. Hope you got something from this video. And if you guys want to connect more, then be sure to subscribe and hit me up on Snapchat, man. I love Snapchat, and I love Instagram as well. If you're not following me on Instagram, my Instagram is Fruitarian, and my Snapchat, it's Ted Carr. You can check out all the important links, everything I recommend in the description below. I do hope to see you at a fruit festival in the future, guys. This summer was a blast, and can't thank you guys enough for whoever came out and whoever put on the events. Big thanks to Peter and Louise for putting on the Danish Fresh Food Festival. Big thanks to Ronnie Smith and the whole UK Fruit Fest crew for putting on that event. And big thanks to Mike Arnstein and Ann Osborne and Yulia and everyone else that was involved with the Woodstock Fruit Festival. You guys did such an amazing job, and the people I met there this year was just amazing. So that's it. Peace.
And I'm feeling vegetarian for the win. Spin it, my friend.
Vegetarian, fruitarian, scary when I'm coming in for the win. This is me with the grin, and I feel in the wind as the chimes hit my blind eye, and I open up. So what you know about it, man? This is how we live. We just trying to show these kids how it can be when you
make shit always dandy. But you gotta rely on the family, the fruit one, or the fans be. We just new sons to this game, but we're already older gods. It's been the same since we maintained, but now we remembered on our brain. We're fruitarian, man. Why did we not do this from since we were kids? What was going on? How did we get by? How did we even live? Here we are, give in thanks for the Lord for giving us more and more and more and more abundance. So much fruit we can't run out. That's why we're here from the north to the south, from all over the world, yet we're connected in the NY City. We see outside it's kinda gritty, but we're like, yo, never feeling shitty, but the vibe is always high. Cause we eat papaya and we're feeling really fly. And that's why the mango is just by my thigh, and by my feet is the watermelon, and on my head is another durian. And I'm just doing this, so if you want it, hurry in and have some. We're here to share, we're well aware the people are scared to live the ultimate potential, so we do this shit on the instrumental. Who would have knew that this little kid would have flew this shit and kept it cool and really true? Sarah's in the back like you guys kill it so much, I can't get enough. I just want another touch of your rhyme. I'm just feeling so freaking fine. Oh my god, on my mind, it's just about to explode. Let go, so you better stop me, cause I might not stop the flow, cause I just go. Someone else jump in quick. Check it out. Oh my god,
check it out. Check it out, I'm so rude. I'm that raw food dude with no pimples, and you looking simple. Jelly face with your jelly cakes. I make no mistakes, I am not a flake. I am in the water feeling myself every day, and that's okay. It's self-love this way, so keep a distance from me if you're not feeling energy high. I keep it fly, no Wi-Fi. I'm in the woods again.
And I just want to share this dream to all my people. We rising up to the top of the steeple. Let me get it in, it's simple. The mind state is like relax into the state that you're in. And once you see it, no division, it begins to ascend you into a space of love inside the heart deep. Yeah, I'll give you a hug and you can feel it, feel it. Yeah, this is the stillness. When I'm meditating in the morning, man, I kill it. Yeah, I be in it, but this is for the life. Let me rise up to the highest high. Give praise to the most highs, every single one, man. I know this isn't me, it's the grateful loving sun that's giving me life to the plants and everything that I'm one with.